Hey guys, how are we getting on today? So today I'm here with Sharon Looney. So Sharon is Chief Human Resources Officer over in Core HR. So Sharon, thank you for your time, giving us your time here today. And guys, I'm sure you're going to get so much from this. So I suppose if you can just tell us a little bit about what you do yourself at the moment.
Okay, so Steve, first of all, thanks a lot for inviting me to be part of this very exciting program. I had a quick look at the material that Steve has been preparing, and I know if I was a 14, 15, 16-year-old again, I would absolutely be blown away by the support resources that are behind the platform. So I wanted to firstly say congratulations to Stephen and his backroom team for putting this together. I'm absolutely blown away by the content of it. So I hope that all of you guys are starting to get some value and see the value in it. So my job, it seems a fairly fancy title, Chief Human Resources Officer, but really what it is I look after the people experience in organisations. So primarily we're moving away a little bit from the term HR. So your career guidance teachers in school may be talking about your, the HR departments who are the baddies, the police people who generally and traditionally would have been seen as adding very little value except hiring and firing, I think is the appalling word that I hear used with the term HR. So we're moving away a little bit from that, and now we really are more focused on employee engagement, finding the right talent for organisations, helping people to develop when they're in jobs, helping people to pathfind, to move from one job to the other. If a job doesn't suit you, you no longer have to stay entrenched in that particular role. Generally, HR organisations are now very equipped to be able to take over really from where your career guidance teachers in the school leave off when you either leave before you finish your leaving cert, or you leave at your leaving cert, or indeed you go on to do a university course. And generally our job, and my job as a HR leader for the last 20 years, has been to help students like yourself to actually pathfind in terms of careers. So it wouldn't be unusual for me to go out to schools and colleges and give talks around careers, and irrespective of the juncture that you're at, so whether you're somebody who's trying to decide whether you'll finish the leaving cert, if you're somebody who's trying to get those points to get into college to do that particular course that you've always dreamed of, my message will always be the same. It's a lot of the really successful people that I see in careers will have cycled through maybe a patchwork quilt of various paths that they've had to take to actually reach to their desired destination. So really my message is, it's your motivation, it's your mindset and motivation over your mathematics. It's your enthusiasm over your English results. I'm not saying that they're not important, but I'm saying when you get there and when you finally find that role and that job that you're aspiring to, it's really the motivation, your enthusiasm, your ambition, your drive, your self-regulation, your self-discipline in following that dream, crafting out the dream. What's the type of job that you would like to see yourself in 3-5 years time, and sticking with that. And that has to be your job, your vision, not somebody else's vision, because what I have found in guiding people and supporting people through careers and in pathfinding into the right careers for them is that we will never be good at anything we don't like to do. So that's your starting point, is understanding what are the things I like to do, what am I good at, what subjects am I good at in school, and then crafting out and focusing on those areas of strength and building on those, playing to your strengths as opposed to trying to identify, well, what am I not so good at and trying to improve those. The starting point should always be finding what am I good at doing, what do I like doing. If you don't have an awareness of that, ask somebody else, ask people around you, ask your teachers, ask your friends, what am I good at? Am I good with people? Am I good at selling things? Am I good at creating things? Am I good with technology? And then narrowing your focus from there. Because guess what? We never ever in business, we never stick with the plan A. The plan A never tends to work ordinarily for us. And the people that I've seen to be the most successful in businesses are the people who have the plan A, and when the plan A doesn't work, they move very quickly to the plan B and plan C oftentimes. And not being afraid of failure. Because when we think about the word fear, and this is a key message that I want to get across in this little clip, fear it stands for me as false evidence appearing real. That's what fear is. It's false evidence appearing real. So don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of setbacks. Don't be afraid of knocks, because the people who are most successful in business are the most bruised when they get to the top. So keep that in mind. Viewing mistakes and setbacks as opportunities to progress, learning from those mistakes, not being afraid to get back up. And remember, when we fall in life, it's important that we try land on our back, because guess what? When we land on our back, we can look up, and if we can look up, we can absolutely get up. So go for it. Reach out for the support that you need from your career guidance teachers, from HR professionals like me around you, and just, ask people, what am I good at? What would I like to do? And from there, you can set your plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, you move to plan B. Plan B doesn't work, you move to plan C, but you keep going. It's about that self-regulation. It's about that understanding your self-worth and sticking with the things that you like, your vision, creating your plan for your future, taking control of your own destiny, and not being led and guided by what might be somebody else's vision for you. So that's about it, Steve.
Cool. So that was brilliant. But I just have a couple of questions in around that. And one of the main ones is, what are some of the biggest challenges you see with people when they're trying to progress and move forward in a company?
One of the biggest challenges is, if I was to, we talk about career ladders in business, and when we try to get on the career ladder, very oftentimes we have a very tunneled vision of what success might look like, and we have this perception, generally speaking, that the only way to progress in a career is to move straight up that career ladder. So coming in maybe as a school leaver, and then setting our sights on a particular role and staying on in that particular area of expertise. If we think about careers more like a child's climbing frame, for example, if you observe children playing on a climbing frame, the kids that are likely to succeed are the ones that will be okay with the fallback. They will be okay with moving sideways on the climbing frame. A child won't necessarily always look to climb straight up a ladder or straight up that climbing frame. They will make sideways moves, they will fall back, they will get up, they will go again. And very oftentimes that's one of the biggest mistakes, is that we have the old mentality of that career ladder. And another one of the mistakes that we're seeing right now is with folks wanting to progress too quickly inside organizations. So be happy to learn the craft, be happy to master whatever it is you like doing, irrespective of what it is. Master that craft first, stick with it. Irrespective of if you think you can be doing more, stick with it until you master what you're doing, and then look for more responsibility, look for a larger scope, but master what you're doing first.
Cool. And also as well, a lot of people that are watching this now, they might be just kind of coming to the end of school, and they're just kind of maybe stepping off into college, or stepping foot into the workforce. And what I've kind of seen with a lot of people throughout the years is, a lot of people get stuck in a job they don't like, but yet they end up staying there year after year after year. So kind of what advice would you have for people before they actually get to that phase, that they don't actually get caught up doing something they don't like?
This comes back to taking control of your destiny. This comes back to, I give you an example. I had a situation 3 weeks ago where I had a couple of people in the business that came and said, well, look, there's not a whole lot happening on career development. Can you tell me what you're going to do from a HR perspective? What's the policy around career development? And I'm saying, guys, if there's anybody in this organization that's looking for me to take control of their own career, then you're in the wrong organization, because your career is it's your responsibility. I never, throughout the history of my career, relied on any boss or anybody to take control of my career development. That's in my own control. So, like I said, Steve, we will never be good at doing something that we don't like doing. That's the first point. And the second thing is we can become very, we talk about comfort zones, and I'm sure throughout Steve's platform you will see about, you will hear the term comfort zone. I speak about comfort pits, because when we get too comfortable in jobs that we maybe, become very familiar with, and suddenly what was exciting becomes a mundane job, then that's the fear that you're getting into that comfort pit. And recognizing when that's about to happen, realizing when you've mastered that part of the job that you're doing and you're ready to take on more, have that realization and map that out for yourself, realizing where is your comfort zone. And comfort zones are great unless they start to build that little wall that becomes the comfort pit. And that's what happens to folks that end up in roles for years and years and years, and then they start to lose an understanding of their own self-worth. So don't let the comfort zone become the comfort pit, would be the advice.
Yeah. And I suppose even looking at that as well, that to get to a certain position, people may have had to step out of their comfort zone to get there, but then by staying there, that's when they get stuck, that they're not learning, they're not growing, they're not kind of opening up their mindset to other possibilities and other directions that they can start to take. And I think it's important as well for people to actually realize that when they get to one place, that don't just shut it down, that's saying that's as far as I can go, to try and keep your mindset open.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a good point, because there is a circle. I like to draw this in the workplace quite a lot. So the center part, the green circle in the center is the comfort zone. Then you draw a line outside the comfort zone and you put the word stretch between the comfort zone, and the red line outside of it is your stretch. And we should always be moving from comfort to stretch and back to relax a little bit, comfort to stretch, because that's where the learning is happening. Where the stress comes is on the line outside the stretch. If we're overstretching ourselves, if we're overreaching. So it's really important that we just try it. Draw those 3 circles, the center circle being the comfort zone, the circle outside that is stretch, and the circle outside of that is stress. And understanding where we are, and I use this very oftentimes to explain to people in roles where they're finding it difficult to perform, is because in a lot of cases they're overstretching either their own expectations, where they're moving too frequently, or they're existing too frequently in the circle in the area between the stretch and the stress. So it's very healthy to be moving continuously from comfort to stretch, and back again. And the longer we can sustain being comfortably in the stretch zone is where the rich learning is happening. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Draw the 3 circles and it will make sense.
Just keep pushing yourself forward.